Hi everyone, today I'm just going to give you a brief introduction to using MLA format to do in-text citations. As a reminder, we do use MLA format for the humanities classes, your English classes, and sometimes outside of the humanities world, you might have someone request MLA format, but it's just one of many formatting styles. What's more important is that we just remember we're using this to make it clear how the document's going to be set up, where to find information, and just kind of govern our writing so that there's some consistencies across the board. So for an in-text citation, anytime you are using another source and you're pulling information from it, and that information is not considered common knowledge, you need to give credit. Whether that's from a lecture, a newspaper article, a conversation with an instructor, a data set from a lab, a scholarly article, a movie, tweet, you can see goes on and on. If you're pulling information that's not common knowledge, so it's not something that the general public would know, like off the top of their head, give credit where credit is due. It is, if you don't give credit, it is plagiarism and it can result in a zero. And outside of, your class, it can have even longer lasting impacts like losing a job, a degree, being sued. So getting the practice now is important. So in English 111, we're going to practice with it. We're going to get you comfortable with it so that moving forward, you have confidence that you are giving proper credit. So you can do this in two ways. You can have a signal phrase in the text where you attribute the author in the text. So according to Simpson, quote, 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 or according to Simpson, information. And then done. Or you can do it at the end in what we call a parenthetical citation, and that's because it's in parentheses, and it goes at the very end of the sentence. So you can choose either one, whatever flows best for what you're trying to say, but you do have to include it. For MLA, the only thing you have to put in there for the average citation is the author's last name and then the page number. And I know there might be what ifs. We'll get to those in a minute, but those are what you do have to include. So, what if I have two authors? Well, then I'm just going to say Smith and Simpson. If I have three or more authors, I'm going to give the first author listed. I cannot rearrange it. I go in the order it's published. I'm going to give their last name, and I'm going to write the word et al. You'll notice that et al. Has a period at the end, and there's no comma here. It would be Cochran et al. Excuse me, and that's it. If there is no author, which is really common for web articles, or web pages, then you're just going to give the title of the work. Short pieces typically go in quotation marks. If it's a novel or a movie or something like that, that gets done differently. But like I said, most of your works that don't have an author are typically shorter, and so you would use the quotation marks. So here's my example. According to quotation marks, the made of article, blah, 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 blah. If this one is rare, I don't think you're going to see it, but if you are going to use multiple works by the same author, so maybe you're doing a literary analysis and you're using a lot of poems from Shakespeare, so you're using Shakespeare over and over and over again, but we need to be clear with what one of Shakespeare, then you give a short title of the work that you're specifically saying. So my example says Cochran, comma, first attempt, page number. Or it could be Shakespeare, comma, sonnet 29, page number, anything like that. I don't think you're going to see that often, but I want to mention it. And the biggest what if that you will probably see is if there's no page number. Nice thing about MLA, the newest edition, is that if there's no page numbers, you just leave that part off. You just give me the author. You do not count paragraphs. You just leave it off. So here's some examples. If I haven't said who my author is before, it's always a good idea to introduce them. So the first time I cite them, I might say something like authors and professors, Graff and Bergenstein. I want students to remember that. It's very important to continue to keep those ideas in view. The first time you cite, you do kind of give us a little bit of background on your author so we can understand why they're worth citing. So author and professor gives me enough. You'll notice that my page number comes at the end in parentheses, because my author's already in the sentence. I don't have to repeat them. If I've introduced them before, I can still say the author in the sentence, or I could take one of these approaches as well. Here's my, when writing academically, here's my quote. So in the parentheses, I'm going to list author, page number. No comma, just author, page number. or just direct quote, author, page number at the end. But as long as you have the author and the page number in the sentence, that's what we're looking for. So the other thing to keep in mind is how to punctuate your quotations. If you are doing a quote at the end of the sentence and you have not given me anything in the sentence yet, this is how it should look. I've got the end of my quote. I'm going to put my quotation mark, have my parentheses with my author and page number, if there's a page number, and then my period comes after the citation. That's very important. It's after the citation. If I've already cited the author in the sentence, and I don't have to put anything in the information at the end because there is no page number, I've already put it in the sentence, and the quote ends the sentence, this is then how it would look. So end of quote, period, quotation marks. Because there's no citation, I can put my period here. So let me just go back. So you can see authors here, citation, period. No author, so full citation, period. That's how it would look. If I had no page number for here, so I've already given my author, then yeah, if I have no page number, I can move my period up. But the important thing to remember is that your period is going to go after your citation at the end of the sentence, not before. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll get to practicing.